So whilst we try and avoid them, mistakes are occasionally bound to happen. So the question for us really is, what do we do if an email like you're talking about goes to the wrong person, or the wrong attachment goes to the wrong person? The message is, don't panic, but do act really quickly when this happens. First report it to your school's lead for data protection, who will then themselves report it to the school's DP team, who as soon as possible via their email, which is schoolsdpo@camden.gov.uk. You will likely also need to make some sensible mitigating steps. Get advice first as to what they might be and what might help most really in the circumstances. That might be contacting the person you've sent the wrong email to, see if they will just immediately delete it, things like that. You have to move really quickly because the person whose data we've mishandled, well, we owe them that duty to try and protect them and for the damage to be as little as possible. A mistake has been made, but don't make it worse by not doing anything. Don't sit on it, don't try and pretend it never happened. Get on it really quickly, report it, because the quicker you report it, the more likely we are that we can reduce the damage to zero. Sitting on it is the worst thing that anyone can possibly do. So if a mistake's made, report it to the DPO, who will then get advice from Camden. Are there other regular data protection issues that come up?
Yes, one of the other things that happens quite often is when a parent wants to check that we're holding the right contact details, for example, for them on the system. Have you got my right phone number? I've not heard from you in a while, I've not received the bulletin, those sorts of things. But that's where you've got to be really careful to make sure that you're holding the right data and that you're not accidentally sharing it with the wrong person. If you were to show them the screen to say, is this correct, it might contain other people's information on there that they shouldn't see. And I'm aware of a case actually where a student's father was shown a screen which contained the contact details for the student's mother, and she was a domestic violence survivor, which obviously could have had really difficult consequences for that person. Luckily it didn't, and we took the right steps to address that. But what would have been even better is if we had not shown the screen to that father in the first place, of course, to avoid the breach, and instead had said, could you write down your details and we'll check that they're correct, and compared them ourselves.
Yeah, that's clearly the better route.
Yeah.
I mean, that was potentially a very, very serious matter. On serious matters, when something really horrible happens and we really do make a mistake that could damage people, then, of course, one thing that we do is we need to report that to the Information Commissioner's Office. And we're under a statutory duty to do that within 72 hours of us finding out about it. So again, that goes back to the point about reporting it as soon as you know about it, and then we can take those steps. If that does happen, and we have to deal with the Information Commissioner, then the Council will help with that. They will help you report it. They will then be the lead communication point for that from then on. But clearly, as I said, key message is let us know really early so we can try and mitigate the damage, reduce it, and if necessary, report to the Information Commissioner's Office. I think one thing I can't say enough is that if you do act quickly, normally you can put these things right and we can move on.